Welcome to Day 5 of the CGLCC Digital LGBT Plus Global Business Summit. My name is Daryl Sherman, CEO and co-founder of the CGLCC. I hope you've enjoyed the past 4 days. We've had some amazing and inspirational speakers and great learning opportunities. And I hope lots of business connections are being made. Over 800 people registered from over 20 countries around the world. This truly is a global business summit. The CGLCC works hard to create a thriving and inclusive economy. We represent over 28,000 businesses, contributing over $22 billion annually to the Canadian economy. We wouldn't be able to do that without the support of so many corporate and industry and community partners. And we wouldn't be able to do it without the support of the federal government. I'm so pleased to have the Honorable Mary Ng, Minister of Small Business, Export Promotion and International Trade with us this afternoon. She's going to share a few words with you, and then I'm going to get the chance to sit down with her, well, virtually, I guess, at least, and ask her a few burning questions that we all have. So with that, Minister, I will turn it over to you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour, and thank you so much, Daryl, for bringing us all together, yes, virtually. And thank you for the important work that you do, and indeed the entire team that advocates so strongly for LGBT plus business owners and entrepreneurs across the country. It's really been wonderful to build this partnership with the Canadian Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, or CGLCC, over the last couple of years. You've heard me say this before, representation matters. It is fantastic to be a part of this year, the 2020 Digital LGBT Plus Global Business Summit, and an event that amplifies and celebrates the diverse voices in business. And as the minister responsible for small businesses, I've traveled across Canada, meeting with tens of thousands of businesses, owners, entrepreneurs, and in every conversation, including the ones that I've had with CGLCC members, I hear the unique stories of business owners, as well as the common thread of the dedication of your years of hard work and the sacrifices that you have made to make your business a success. The COVID-19 pandemic has been an incredible challenge for all business owners and entrepreneurs across the country. But we know the unique and systemic barriers to business successes faced by LGBTQ2 business owners, and they are very much present during this pandemic. And I want you to know that our government continues to work hard to create supports, to make the adjustments in direct response to what we hear. This includes the unique of your communities, because allyship is essential for our collective success. As provinces begin to safely and slowly reopen and restart, we're here to continue to listen to you and to work with you to ensure that you are supported through this period. One of the things that we heard from businesses right from the very beginning is that you need cash flow so that you can bridge to better times when it is safe to reopen and to restart. Apologies, I thought the camera just slipped there. The wonderful benefits of digital. So one of the things we heard back from businesses for COVID-19 is help us with some lending support so that we can bridge through to better times. That's what we've done with our Canada Emergency Business Account. It's a $40,000 interest-free loan that is available to businesses. 25% or $10,000 of that $40,000 is forgivable if you're able to pay that loan back by the end of 2022. So lending support and that ability to manage your bills and your operational costs through this time was essential. To date, we're seeing over 660,000 business owners that have already taken advantage of this loan. We've expanded the category for eligibility to this bank loan. So thousands of more businesses will get the support through this lending program. We also heard very strongly from businesses at the very beginning that it was important for them to be able to also manage their cash flow just by having some flexibility. So with that, we deferred tax payments, GST payments, customs duties payments, so that businesses can keep the money in your bank account rather than submitting it to us. That, just to give you an order of magnitude, helps about a little over 3 million businesses across the country, and it's equivalent to a $30 billion interest-free loan to our Canadian businesses during this difficult time. We've also heard from businesses that it was really essential for COVID-19, during COVID-19, and certainly into the restart period, that keeping your teams together was going to help you weather through this period, but also get you on a stronger foot as you restart and as you rebuild. So this is why we introduced a 75% wage subsidy to help Canadian businesses with their payroll costs. So eligible businesses can access 75% of the wage subsidy, which means that the federal government is paying 75% of the salary and wages for your employees, up to a $57,000 salary of that employee every single month. We've extended this salary support until the end of August because we know that during this crucial period, as businesses are looking to restart, that they will be able to draw on the support to help with their payroll costs. The other thing that we heard from businesses, of course, is rent support and making sure that that significant expense, that significant monthly expense, that some of our hardest hit businesses get some help throughout this period. So for April, May, and June, small businesses that have seen a significant reduction in revenue will get access to commercial rent support with a 75% discount given to them by their landlords. And I'm encouraged to see that our provincial partners and territorial partners are also implementing complementary measures so that we can all ensure that this support is there to our small businesses across the country. So whether it is helping you with your payroll costs or keeping your costs low or giving you that lending support that you need, these are some of the measures that we have put in place to help our businesses get through this difficult time. But as the minister responsible for international trade, it's really important that we continue to also help our businesses work in the international marketplace where they are at the moment, or continue to help them, those global supply chains to remain open. We know that international trade has been impacted as a result of the pandemic. Open, our businesses can continue their work, and that essential goods and services can continue to flow during this time. And to help business owners and entrepreneurs that don't have access to tailored financial advice, we created the Business Resilience Service, a free bilingual service with accounting advisors to help you through this and to plan for your recovery. It is a hotline that's available at 1-866-989-1080, because we know that smaller SMEs, sole proprietors, especially those who are diverse, less likely to have access to financial services. This service has been created with you in mind. We've also dedicated funding to help Indigenous-owned businesses, rural businesses, tourism operators, young entrepreneurs, innovative and high-growth firms, women entrepreneurs, and more. Our goal is to save many Canadian jobs and businesses during this crisis, including LGBTQ2 businesses. We want to help you restart. We want you to help you rebuild once it is safe to do so. I just want you to know we've got your back every single step of the way, and I look forward to continuing to work with all of you and through CGLCC so that we can get through this as Team Canada. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Minister. It's hard to believe that it was over a year ago that you were doing this fireside chat with us in Toronto at our third annual summit. I guess who would have thought that our next fireside chat would be like this? So thank you for joining us. It's great to have you back with us again this year. So a lot has happened over that last year since we had you here, and obviously, especially over the last few months with COVID. So, before I kind of jump into some of the questions, just how are you doing? Like, you must be busy. I know we had a chat the other night and it was late and you were still working. And that, I'm assuming that's kind of par for the course. So how are you doing?
Well, thanks so much, Daryl. And it is hard to believe it was only a year ago, and it really does seem like almost a lifetime ago when I was with you and so many of your members vibrantly sort of talking about the support for, for LGBTQ plus entrepreneurs. But I'm doing well, and I want to thank Canadians and I want to thank Canadian businesses. I mean, I'm doing my part, but the only way I'm able to do my part is because I get the opportunity to hear so directly from all of you. So yes, they are early days and they are sort of late nights, but I, like everyone else, is doing my part in staying in. I work largely from my home in Toronto, and I do get to Ottawa for the parliamentary sittings in a physical distance way when it's sort of my rotation to be in Ottawa. But it's remarkable. I mean, I sitting sort of where I'm sitting right now, which is actually my dining room. I've done G20 meetings with international trade ministers. I do my cabinet meetings here at home. I also sit on the COVID-19 cabinet committee that's chaired by the deputy prime minister, and of course that work has been very fulsome. I do that from home. I do media from home, so it has been an adjustment, but a good adjustment, and I'm particularly motivated because I'm very committed to making sure that we are helping our Canadian businesses through this difficult time. And I want to I want to thank businesses because it really is it's your stories, and some of them very tough and hard, and others where really good work has come because the entrepreneurship of just Canadian businesses, of pivoting and trying to find new ways to adapt, has been a source of inspiration for me. So it's been okay.
Great. Well, that's good to hear, and I think you're absolutely right. As it's impressive to see how we can all adapt and how we've all had to adapt, and some of the great successes that we've seen come out of that, especially from some of our diverse business community. So your government has done such an amazing job in rolling out programs like those that you just talked about in your opening remarks to support Canadian businesses in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And many of our LGBT plus businesses have accessed those programs. But as economies start to reopen across the country, many businesses are starting to focus on the restart. So what is your government going to do to support businesses as they look at restart and recovery, and how do you anticipate the existing programs will be changed as we move to the next phase?
Yeah, that's a really important question. I have been very clear right from the very beginning. The government has been very clear. Our job is to help Canadians fight what is the health fight. And we have successfully, as a country, come together to help flatten this curve. We're not, of course, we're not out of the waters yet. We've made good progress, and we need to make sure we keep that progress with respect to the health of Canadians. So the federal government, along with its provincial partners and territorial partners, are working on how to safely restart by supporting by working together, and by working continuously with businesses and having a listening ear. So one of those things that I just talked about in my remarks has to do with the wage subsidy. We know that it's really important in restart that you have your team, and you're better able to plan, you're better able to restart and to build out of COVID-19 if you have your teams together, which is why we extended the wage subsidy until the end of August. We, of course, are doing consultations right now, listening to businesses about what they think they will need in this restart, and therefore we will adjust our work and our support so that we can be responsive to business. That is the approach we have taken all the way along. Also, just a couple of days ago, I announced the Post Promise. This is an initiative, again, where the federal government has partnered directly with Canadian businesses like the Canadian Business Council, so that there is a partnership and a program that helps Canadian businesses to safely restart, to create the consumer confidence in the restart so that it is helpful to businesses. So I'm encouraged by the work that we continue to do with businesses. Absolutely, there's more to do, but I think the way to do it is as we have always done. Let's work together, make sure you are able to share with us your pain points and what you need, and we will just keep working together, adapting if we need to, but really working together so that we get Canadian businesses, small businesses, diverse businesses back on that track uh, into recovery.
And you know, and I want to take this opportunity to thank you for giving us the opportunity to help feed in and provide some of that input to you and the ministry, because I think it is, to your point, it is important that you're hearing what are the needs and where are there gaps for LGBT businesses, and the consultation that you've been doing with us throughout this pandemic has been just reflective of your commitment to ensuring that diverse businesses, including LGBT plus businesses, are being heard. You know, data collection is very important to track uptake on any government program, and even more so perhaps in a crisis like COVID-19, which we know disproportionately impacts vulnerable businesses such as Black entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, and LGBT plus entrepreneurs. So what work is your government doing to collect information on the COVID-19 support recipients, and why do you think that that's important?
That's a very good question, and certainly not the first time you and I have had this conversation. Right from, I mean, if I sort of just back up, even before COVID-19, inclusive growth has been really important to this government. The work that we do to support the inclusiveness of everyone into the economy is not only the right thing to do, it actually makes really strong economic sense. Daryl, you already started at the outset of this about the contribution to the Canadian economy that the LGBT plus community makes to the economy. We have those same statistics for women entrepreneurs, Black-owned entrepreneurs, same thing. Incredible contributions to our overall well-being, but also to the bottom line of the Canadian economy. So it's really important that we do this work, and our government has committed right from the get-go to do this. And I'm not going to let COVID-19 stop us from doing that work. And in fact, during COVID-19, I've been paying particular attention, of course, to make sure that we have the range of supports that I've already been talking about to Canadian businesses, but also during this time that we don't lose businesses because of the barriers or the lack of supports that they will need during COVID-19 in order that they truly are able to bridge through and get on that road to rebuild and restart like everybody else. So helping women entrepreneurs is an example, making sure that we are paying particular attention to Black entrepreneurs, LGBT plus entrepreneurs. So we are very committed to ensuring that during this time that we don't lose the gains that we have made, and because there is more work to do, and we're going to do this work together beyond this, that I am sure. Around data, our government recognizes how important it is to get disaggregated data. We know that it informs smart policy. We also know that this is going to help ensure that there is accountability. We've also known that there's been longstanding challenges in Canada regarding the collection of disaggregated data. It's why we made specific investments to Statistics Canada. There is the creation of the Centre for Gender, Diversity and Inclusion Statistics. It has an investment of just over $6 million, actually almost $7 million, so that we can increase the disaggregation various data sets. So that work is really important, and we're committed to doing that. We know that there's more that needs to be done, but let me talk about an accomplishment. GBA Plus is enshrined in the development of a federal budget. It's enshrined in law. That is progress. That is what this government did in its last mandate. And no longer will there be a federal budget that is going to be created without going through a GBA plus lens. So is there more work to do? Absolutely. Are we committed to doing it? We must. And we're going to do it together. It always works better when we can collaborate and work together in this. But it does take intentional leadership, and that is the leadership of this government.
So, of course, you're also Canada's Minister of International Trade. And we know that you've been working with multilateral institutions and your international counterparts to keep supply chains open during this crisis. So as we move to this next phase, what do you think export opportunities will look like for Canada's small businesses and entrepreneurs?
Well, you know that this is an area that is really important to me, government, to our businesses. Canada is a trading country. Three-quarters of our GDP comes from trade. So it really is important. And uh, diversifying, diversifying trade, finding new markets, help support our small and medium-sized businesses so that they can access those markets continues to be a priority. Again, we won't let COVID-19 stand in the way of that. But we are seeing that global supply chains have been impacted because of COVID-19. We are seeing more protectionist measures and barriers go up. It's why Canada continues to play a role, and indeed a leadership one, to ensure that global supply chains do remain open, that we work with our multilateral rules-based international trading system and our partners to ensure that those supply chains remain open, particularly for critical supplies, medical supplies, agri-food products. Canada feeds Canada, but it also has an important role in feeding the world. So making sure that our supply chains remain open, working with our international partners is part of the work that I've been doing. But the other part is continuing to make sure that the Canadian Trade Commissioner Service, who has been working steadfast throughout this time to support Canadian businesses who are working abroad, so, to deal with some of the issues, the problem solving that businesses need in international markets. But we will continue to do the work of helping our Canadian businesses diversify, giving them the support so that they can grow, and that growth will be through international trade. The CGLCC participated in a trade mission a couple of years ago with my predecessor, and I'm looking forward for us to continue to pursue those markets together. It may be a little different. We may be using digital, but that won't stop us from trying to access those global customers that I know our Canadian businesses absolutely can grow into.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I want to thank your support and the government support in those trade missions that we've done. So we've done two now over the last 2 years, and we're looking forward to figuring out what the next trade mission looks like given the current situation. But so moving into something that's really at the core of what CGLCC does, which is supplier diversity. And it's very important to our members and to us as an organization. And obviously one of the key areas of topics discussed at the summit. So we know that the government is one of the largest purchasers of goods from Canada's SMEs. And we also know that many Canadian businesses have adapted and retooled to help government meet the demand in the fight against COVID-19. However, many underrepresented small business owners are still unable to access government procurement. So what is your government doing to expand supplier diversity? And what is your message to Canada's LGBT plus entrepreneurs who want to join government procurement process?
Absolutely, Daryl. I mean, this is an area, again, where we continue to work together, and we will need to continue to work together. Supplier diversity and being able to provide um, opportunities, the opportunities for growth for businesses where government is a significant procurer to help those businesses grow and to help them scale up is something that is really, really important. There is absolutely more work to be done in this area. I think that we can, we can do a better job, and we must keep working together on this. The Made in Canada initiative, which is Canada's plan to mobilize industry during COVID-19, I think is a really good it's a good demonstration of what is possible. Certainly what is possible by Canadian businesses to be able to retool their operations to fight COVID-19. So whether it is the distillery that would distill wonderful beverages and retooling to make hand sanitizers, or the operation that is a clothing operation that has retooled to make medical gowns, or the countless companies that are retooling their capabilities to help with ventilators, manufacturing ventilators. I mean, and the list can kind of go on in terms of what Canadian businesses have stood up. So it's incredibly and wonderful to see Canadian businesses step up. And in that stepping up, working with the government of Canada so that we can procure from those companies. I would say that some of those companies for sure are small businesses, but I think more work always has to be done so that we can ensure that our diverse businesses also are equally at the front of the line. So I do think that there is more work to do, and we will need to keep working together to make supplier diversity more of a reality as we go forward.
And I think that that's something that we'll continue to work with you and to, if you don't mind me saying this, push to help push you along on that journey. And yesterday we held our annual Supplier Diversity Forum, and our roundtables, and the Office of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises had a table there. And so listening and meeting with many of our entrepreneurs and trying to get them engaged and telling them how to engage with the federal government procurement process. So we'll continue that journey together. Minister Ng, thank you for taking the time this afternoon to speak with us. Again, I know that you're extremely busy, so thank you for making the time for us. You and your entire team have been such great partners and supporters of the CGLCC. Your leadership has been inspirational, and I know that as you started this conversation, you have our backs, and I truly believe that you do have the backs of all LGBT businesses and all businesses across the country. And so I want to thank you for that. Up next is our annual LGBT+ Excellence in Business and Leadership Awards. We'll begin that at 12:50, so please tune in for that and help us celebrate our LGBT+ business advocates. And at the same time, EY will also be announcing the winner of the EY pitch competition that you saw yesterday. So we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.